Hello and welcome to Maker Melissa's Lab. In this video I'll be putting together the IMSAI 8080 kit here. This is actually a replica of it, not the original of course. This is by the High Nibble, and you may recognize it from movies such as WarGames, where the main character uses one.
You're really into computers, huh?
Yeah.
This is a very high quality kit, and if you haven't watched any of my other retro computer replica videos, be sure to check them out in the description. I am really excited for this one because I have been waiting since last year to do it, but I wanted to get some of my other videos out first. Let's get started. We have a nice bag of parts here. We have all the components that are laid out well. And this is as far as I've actually seen into the kit. So you're going to be unboxing it with me. We have all the little supportive ICs over here. This is driven by an ESP32 Pico kit. Let's see what we got under here. We have the main circuit board. Oh wow, here's the front panel. Like I said, I have not seen this before. That really looks nice. And I believe the rest of these are the pieces of the case here, including the outer shell here. The first step is to cut 2 sets of 3 pins, and we're going to go ahead and solder these onto here. In order to keep the pins all aligned, I'm going to go ahead and place them in this breadboard. Next up is the PS-RAM chip, and if you notice there's a little dot on the chip and a dot on the board, and those just need to line up. There we go. Next up is the SD card slot. There's a couple little locating things there, and so that we know we can get it all lined up easily. This is going to be easier than the last part. So when I was running the test to see if the components I had installed so far were good, the SD card was coming up as failed. So I went ahead and desoldered it, and when I was doing so I ended up removing a couple of the pads here, and I have a couple possible solutions. First is this SDIO breakout board here. These connectors are not used at all, so that's really good, but they don't line up one to one. They're kind of moved around a little bit. Another solution I have is I have this SparkFun SD card sniffer, and the holes are aligned. This requires a little modification. I can just cut this right off here. So the way this is intended to be is it's supposed to have the SD card so you can still access it from the outside here. I kind of compared these two. The red one here is just a little bit skinnier than the black one, so I think I'm going to actually end up going with that one. It looks like I can still clear the LED, and it gives me plenty of space for pretty much aligning with the existing one there. Okay, so I went ahead and I Had to play around with it because the clock, VCC, and ground wires had to be switched around a little bit. Now that is working. That's the good news. The bad news is while I was messing with it, I accidentally broke the antenna off of here. I've gone ahead and ordered another one of these. I can go ahead and continue working with this as it is now. It just may not get as nice of Wi-Fi range. Okay, the next step is to solder in the LEDs here. And I have these little inserts to make sure they're at the right height and to make sure they're lined up. And as you can see, they work. Okay, I've got the LEDs all on here, and I just need to go ahead and attach these four here because of the SD card by putting this on here a little upside down. So this IC has a few more of these capacitors because some of them are used as a charge pump in order to increase the voltage for the RS-232 ports here. Here's a capacitor I missed. And now I think it is ready to insert all the ICs. There's 6 of these ones, and these drive all the LEDs. These are shift registers. So we put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to get all groups of those. And we got the 74HC165s that go in the other 4 sockets on the front of this. And we have this last one for the RS-232 ports. I've gone ahead and just pushed in these buttons. They're not actually soldered in. And so you can see as I go ahead and I switch the power switch, it'll go ahead and clear the memory and put it on there. I can use this switch to show that all the LEDs are working. And I can go ahead and hit run, but what it does is it crashes. If I go ahead and I push that, this lights up that says it's going, and you'll see that the reset rocker doesn't actually do anything, but pushing the reset button here does. This is good enough for me, so I'm going to go ahead and continue on to the next step, which involves actually going ahead and soldering in all the switches. And there we go. We have the first 8 soldered in, and I'm going to go ahead and solder in the rest of the switches off camera. Okay, I just realized I was supposed to actually put this piece on first, but because of the cutouts, it shouldn't actually be an issue. I was able to get my antenna attached on here, and I tested it and it does connect. It's still a little fragile, and I was having some of the problems with the locking up. So the one that I had ordered came in here. I've already gone ahead and soldered the extra 3 pins on here, and I've already gone ahead and programmed it with the IMSAI 8080, and it has the latest firmware on here. So let's go ahead and plug this back in here. And one of the differences between the firmware on this one and the one that I'm running here is it'll run, and then I hit it again and it will actually go ahead and halt it again, and then I can kind of go back and forth between the 2 states. So I am going to go ahead and stick with the new one just because of the new antenna and the fact that it's running really well. Uh-oh, I didn't quite have the board. How many spacers did I lose? The next step is to fit this piece on. It looks like it is a wooden piece that has been textured to look metal. Oh man, I stuck this to the wrong side. Okay, let's try this again. There, that looks good. All we have left is this thing here. And there it is. I'm gonna go ahead and power it up. And let's switch it on. If you hold the examine button and then reset it, it goes into this mode, and then we can go ahead and switch on some of these. This is the one for running CPM, and so we're going to go ahead and hit that. We'll hit deposit. Those now light up, which means they are saved. So I can go ahead and turn those off. And I'm going to go ahead and hit the reset button on here. And then we're going to power it up like normal. And we're going to go ahead to run. And now it's actually running CPM. Unfortunately, while installing my air conditioner, I ended up knocking this over and the SD card is not pushing in anymore.
This is going to be easier than the last part.
I got some of these SD card holders from China. They're a little bit smaller pitch than the ones I have installed, and I'm going to go ahead and try installing that instead. I inserted the SD card that came with the kit, powered it on, but unfortunately it would not boot because the SD card had failed. I powered it off, took out the old SD card, burned a new image to a new SD card and inserted that. This time it seemed to work great. Happy with that, I went ahead and mounted the SD card in its place. It actually fit better than the red one. We can go ahead and attach with the web interface, and I will show you that next, and we can kind of play around with this a little bit some more. I've gone ahead and connected to the IMSAI 8080 Wi-Fi interface. I found it on my local Wi-Fi network. One of the things that really sets this kit apart from the Altair-duino is the web interface here, and it makes things really easy. I'm going to go ahead and open the TTY, and you'll notice there's nothing here, which is expected. And I'm going to open this CPA, and you'll notice that it is not running. I'm going to go ahead and hit the run button now, which starts CPM, and you can see here. Now what I'd like to do on this computer is actually get the Colossal Cave Adventure running on here, and it's going to require several steps. Now I'll start by showing you the contents of the A drive here, and you can see a bunch of programs that it has on it, which is really handy. We also have the library here that has all these disks that are included with it, including all the Zork disks. One of the ways I've found that makes it really easy is we're going to start by downloading the Zork 2 disk by dragging it over to this icon. Now go ahead and rename this Zork to something like class ADV.dsk, and then we can go ahead and re-upload it by dragging it over to here. Yes. Now we'll go ahead and eject the D drive, and then we'll take the new class ADV and go over to here. Now let's go to the D drive. Let's erase everything. So ERA star. Yes. Then what do we have? No files. Excellent. Let's move over to the A drive again and eject the D drive. And then we'll go ahead and download it again. We can go ahead and get rid of the old one. And just rename it back to here. Now I need to go ahead and download the Colossal Cave Adventure, so I will go to this web page here. I'm going to go ahead and link that in the description. The one we're going to want is the Adventure CPM here, so we'll go ahead and click that. And then we can go ahead and extract that. Now we want to go ahead and put this onto my disk here, and the way that we'll do that is there is something called CPM tools. There is ones for Linux, for Mac OS, and for Windows. The Windows one I will link in the description. The Linux one and the Mac one you can just install with brew or with apt-get. I've already gone ahead and installed it on my system. To get it to run, I'm going to go ahead and issue this command, which does a CPM copy, and it does it in the format of the IBM 3740. And I'm going to go ahead and stash them in on my disk, and I'm getting it from this folder, and I'm going to hit OK. Now I'm going to go ahead and delete this empty disk here by dragging it to the garbage, and then we will put our disk with the files over to here. And now we can go ahead and mount it in the D drive. Let's go to the D drive here and type dir. So we will go and type add vent. Yes. And now I have Colossal Cave Adventure on here. So the build didn't go quite as smooth as I was hoping, but it did work out and I really enjoyed it. Be sure to subscribe if you aren't already and hit like. It really helps out with my videos. I'd like to thank my Patreon supporters, and if you aren't supporting me and you'd like to, you can go to patreon.com/makermelissa. I hope you enjoyed the video and I'll see you next time.